So now we're going to implement a character counter on a text area. And basically all we really need to do that is be able to listen for keyboard events and get the length property from the text area's value, and then write a number to the DOM each time the input changes. So what we're going to do is use the key press event, and then we'll listen for the key press event, and when it happens, this is our normal inner HTML of the span element. And here is this, the text area, dot value, what's typed in the text area, dot length. And we know dot length is the length of the string. And if I do this, I should be able to type, and sure enough, there's my counter. Now, there's a couple of wrinkles here. This can actually get pretty complicated if you're doing this in a real application. A few of the things you need to pay attention to are things like white space characters count according to the length, right? So if I'm doing carriage returns, those actually count, and I may or may not want them to. Likewise, if I was allowing somebody to enter HTML markup, I could go to Word and take some formatted text and paste it in here, and there might be invisible characters in that text that count against the character count. So when you get into these kinds of situations, you realize that there's a lot of details to making these things really work well. And yet you have all the tools already. It's just a matter then of figuring out the logic. So here's another case of figuring out the logic. If I were to type one character here, you can see it tells me I'm up to 0 characters. And clearly this is not correct, right? As I start to type more characters, you can see that this number is off by 1. And this kind of thing will happen as well, and you got to scratch your head and say, well, why is it like that? Well, the reason it's like that is because I'm using the key press event. And the key press event fires every time I type a key, but apparently it fires before the value of that input field is updated. So I type a character, and it counts them, and then it puts the character in the input field, so that they're happening in the wrong order for my application to be working right. So what I would probably want to do in this case is maybe try a different one, like key up, right? Key up definitely happens after key press, and if we do that, we can see what happens. If I type a character, it counts it correctly right away. So there's a lot of details like that that are the things that really create excellent solutions from ones that just sort of work. But the tools you're going to use to do it, whatever conditionals you'd be putting in here, the things you have to do to find out how to make it work exactly the way you want it to, these are tools you already have.